The September heat pressed down on Savannah, Georgia like a heavy blanket soaked in humidity and history. River Street bustled with Saturday crowds, families licking ice cream, couples browsing art galleries, street performers drawing chalk portraits on cobblestones that had witnessed centuries of joy and suffering. 3 blocks inland at the Magnolia Grand Hotel's rooftop garden, crystal chandeliers swayed gently in the air-conditioned breeze as 230 guests checked their watches, wondering why the ceremony was running 40 minutes late. Damon Reed adjusted his black tie for the third time, his calloused hands uncomfortable with the formal fabric. At 29 years old, he'd built a successful career as a commercial electrician. His company van parked 5 blocks away, where he'd been finishing an emergency call when fate intervened. His deep brown eyes held a weariness that came from loving too hard and losing too completely. The sun caught the silver watch on his wrist, a graduation gift from 6 years ago, from a woman whose voice he trained himself not to miss. His phone buzzed at 3:12 p.m., unknown number. He almost ignored it. Damon, please, I know you hate me, but something's wrong. I'm trapped. Second floor, bridal suite, Magnolia Grand. He locked. Static drowned the rest, then nothing. Haley Brennan. The name hit him like voltage through bare wire. You good, man? His apprentice Jorge called from the truck. I look like you seen a ghost. I gotta go. Emergency. Take the van back to the shop. Damon was already running, his dress shoes slipping pavement, his mind refusing to process why Haley Brennan, the woman who'd chosen her family's approval over their future, was calling him on what he assumed was her wedding day. The hotel lobby gleamed with marble and money. A concierge in a burgundy jacket stepped forward, his smile professional, but his eyes skeptical as they traveled over Damon's appearance. Well-dressed, but clearly not part of the wedding party. Sir, may I help you find bridal suite, second floor? Where Damon's voice carried the kind of urgency that bypassed, I'm afraid that area is restricted to wedding party only. If you'd like to leave a message, Damon didn't wait for permission. He spotted the service stairs and took them 2 at a time, his heart hammering against his ribs. The second floor hallway stretched long and quiet, plush carpet muffling his footsteps. Rose petals marked a trail to the double doors at the end, white and gold, decorated with silk ribbons, and a placard reading Brennan Lockwood Wedding. He pressed his ear to the door. Voices. Male, angry. Female, frightened. Thinking you could embarrass me like this in front of everyone? The man's voice dripped with controlled rage. You're going down that aisle, Haley. You're going to smile, say your vows, and we're going to fix whatever cold feet this is later. Preston, please. I can't breathe. You're hurting my arm. Damon's shoulder hit the door hard. The lock splintered, wood cracking as he burst into a scene that made his blood freeze and boil simultaneously. The bridal suite looked like a magazine spread for Southern elegance. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Savannah River, a cream-colored chaise lounge, mirrors framed in gold leaf, and a wedding dress that probably cost more than Damon's truck. But the scene playing out destroyed any illusion of fairy tale perfection. Preston Lockwood stood 6 feet tall, blonde hair perfectly styled, his designer tuxedo fitting like it was sewn onto his frame. His left hand gripped Haley's upper arm hard enough to leave marks, his right hand clutching her phone. At 28, she looked exactly as Damon remembered. Auburn hair now styled in an elaborate updo. Green eyes that once looked at him like he hung the moon, now wide with fear. Her wedding dress, all lace and pearls, seemed to mock the violence of the moment. Who the hell are you? Preston's voice shifted from private menace to public confusion, his grip loosening slightly on Haley's arm as he processed the interruption. Damon's hands clenched at his sides, every instinct screaming to cross the room and plant his fist in Preston's face. But he'd learned discipline the hard way, through years of rebuilding himself after Haley left, through therapy sessions where he'd unpacked his anger, through conscious choices to be better than the stereotypes people expected. I'm the person she called for help. Damon's voice stayed level, controlled. And you're going to let her go now. Preston's laugh carried no humor. Let me guess. Old boyfriend? How pathetic. Haley, you called this guy? He shook her arm slightly, like a parent scolding a child. What did you think was going to happen? He'd rescue you, take you away on his white horse? It's not like that. Haley started, but Preston cut her off. Shut up, Hards. Adults are talking. He turned his attention fully to Damon, releasing Haley's arm but blocking her path to the door. Listen, friend, I don't know what sob story she gave you, but this is a private family matter. Wedding day jitters, every bride gets them. So why don't you do everyone a favor and leave before I call security? I'm not leaving without her. Damon took a step forward, his body language calm but unmovable. Haley, do you want to marry this man? The question hung in the perfumed air like a guillotine blade. Haley's eyes darted between the two men, Preston, whose jaw had tightened into something dangerous, and Damon, whose presence radiated a safety she'd convinced herself she didn't deserve. Tell him, Haley. Preston's voice dropped to something soft and venomous. Tell him how you begged me to forgive you for slumming it with him. Tell him how you cried to your daddy about your little phase with the help. Tell him how you chose this life, this family, this future. Each word hit Damon like a physical blow, but his expression never changed. He'd hurt worse. He'd survived worse. And right now, this wasn't about his pride. It was about the terror he saw flickering behind Haley's carefully maintained composure. Haley. Damon said her name like a lifeline. Look at me. Do you want to leave? Her lips trembled. A single tear traced down her cheek, cutting through foundation that probably took an hour to apply. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. I called you because I was scared. Preston found something. He knows I've been. She stopped, swallowing hard. He took my phone. He locked the door. He said I had two choices: marry him and keep my father's reputation intact, or he'd destroy everything my family built. She's being dramatic. Preston moved toward a small table where Haley's clutch purse sat open, its contents spilled. He picked up what looked like printed emails. Your little girlfriend here has been embezzling from her father's real estate company. $50,000 over 6 months. Daddy doesn't know yet, but he will unless she becomes my wife and we quietly fix this little problem together. Damon's mind raced, processing information that didn't fit. Haley came from money. The Brennan family owned half the historic properties in Savannah. Why would she steal from her own father? That's not what happened. Haley's voice grew stronger, desperation cutting through fear. I found out Preston was using my father's company to launder money from his real estate development deals. I started documenting everything, transferring evidence to a separate account. He's framing it as embezzlement. Preston's smile turned predatory. And who's going to believe you, the troubled daughter with the history of poor choices, or me, Rhodes Scholar, family friend, the man your father handpicked to run his legacy? He turned to Damon. This is way above your pay grade, friend. Walk away. Let us handle family business. She's not your family yet. Damon pulled his phone from his pocket. And threatening someone into marriage is called coercion. Pretty sure that's illegal. Put the phone down. Preston's tone shifted, edges sharpening. You're trespassing. I could have you arrested. In fact, he moved toward the house phone on the side table. Let me call security. I'm sure they'd love to hear how a black man broke into a bridal suite and assaulted the groom. The threat landed exactly as intended. A reminder of every headline, every hashtag, every viral video of situations that went wrong because nobody believed the black man's version. But Damon didn't lower his phone. Call them. I'm sure they'll be real interested in hearing Haley's side, too. And whatever evidence she's got on you. How did the story impact you? If you believe in fighting prejudice together, type Unity Wins. Share your thoughts. Remember to subscribe to Racism Route for more transformative stories that inspire change. The standoff broke when the bridal suite door opened again, not with violence this time, but with the careful authority of someone who knew how to command a room without raising her voice. Vivian Brennan, Haley's mother, stood in the doorway at 53 years old, looking like Southern aristocracy incarnate. Pearl necklace, champagne-colored dress, silver hair styled in a classic bob. But her eyes, the same green as her daughter's, held a sharpness that suggested she missed nothing. "Preston, darling, the guests are getting restless. We need to." She stopped mid-sentence, taking in the broken door, her daughter's tear-stained face, the strange black man with the phone in his hand, and Preston's barely concealed fury. What on earth is happening here? Mrs. Brennan, Preston smoothly shifted into charm mode, his face rearranging into concern. "Thank God you're here. Haley's having a breakdown. This man broke in and I called him. Mama." Haley's voice cut through stronger now with her mother present. "Preston locked me in. He was hurting me." Vivian's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes, a calculation happening behind the polished exterior. She stepped fully into the room, closing the damaged door behind her as much as possible. "Everyone